Deepak Sharma.
My brother.
Salute, Mama Huevo.
Salute.
I wasn't going to take it like a shot, you psychopath.
I guess I just did.
It's good tequila. All right, well, round 2. You're up.
We're off to a great start.
All right, we're just going to take one shot every minute for the next 2 hours. This will go great. Oh, my God. Well, thank you for being here, sir, all the way from, your third home. Your third
Miami
home.
is currently home, brother.
Well,
no, thanks for having me, man. I'm so super, super excited. Super stoked that you're podcasting, man. I've had you on a few times on my show. No, I think I've had...
we did one.
We did one? I think we talked about doing it like 4 times. And
we also, it was like I would go to Miami. I would film 120 videos, and not one of those times we took an hour to sit down and actually do a podcast.
Yeah, we ran out of energy. Actually, you're right. You're totally right. But I mean, I'm super excited that the tables have turned and I'm on your show now.
Now you're here. Now I get to interrogate you.
Let's do it.
My turn. But so running an agency, but an actual agency that actually makes people money and actually provides a service and is not just a fucking money farm for the owner.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the main hustles is we run a digital marketing agency. But if you want to
bro, I can't drink like you. I gotta pace myself, sir.
So yeah, we run an organic social media agency where we blow people up on. That's what you wanted to avoid, right?
Yeah, that's the exact thing I was talking about when I was talking about we're just gonna leave the cork out. Let's be somewhat responsible. Not knock that over. Don't shoot me, Sean. I'm sorry.
So we blow people up on social media. We handle the whole process of ideating, scripting, coming up with all the strategy, filming, editing, and posting content for people. You are one of those people and have been for years. And you're one of my favorite clients, man. It's like so fun to work with you. But I mean, you're way more than a client to me. You're a brother. And so
I'm going to have to fire y'all now because you just used the word ideating in a serious context. And I refuse to be associated with anything. Anyone that uses the word ideating.
I knew this podcast would get me in trouble.
Bro, if you think this is going to get you in trouble, I had, oh my God, DJ94 on here who runs this podcast called The Bro Code. Dude, in the middle of that thing, he starts going on. He was making domestic violence jokes.
Oh boy.
Dude, he was going, it was funny as fuck. I was crying laughing. I was cracking up laughing. And he was like, yeah, like I might want to be a stand-up. I don't know. I'm like, bro, you are hilarious. Like you are hilarious. And he's like, yeah, I might go to New York. I was like, please, like you're fucking funny. He's so funny. They ran this thing called the Bro Code. Dude, they got in so much trouble. They were making cancer kid jokes. Oh, God. Dude, because they had some section on the thing called like dark humor. These guys were making like cancer kid jokes and like the cancer moms of America came after them.
Oh,
it's
my
like,
God.
oh, Jesus.
That's the one thing though about comedy though, man. It's like, that's the point. It is supposed to piss someone off.
Yeah.
Right? If not, it's not funny. Like you ever like hear someone who tries to make like kind of like woke comedy?
PC comedy.
Has it ever made anyone laugh in like a serious context? Like no.
Not once. It's supposed to be irreverent.
Yeah.
You start saying that, oh, well, you can't make fun of them and you can't make fun of them. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, wait, why are they protected? Also, that's so dismissive of someone. There was, I think Andrew Schultz was like going on some rant where he made some joke about the military. It's something about active duty, whatever. And he was like, the motherfuckers that crack up laughing at that? All the people that were in like the front lines. Mm-hmm. You know who found those offensive? The janitor at an Air Force base in Nebraska was very offended by that. But it's ridiculous. Anyways, your digital marketing agency running a team of, how many people y'all have?
We work with about 22.
Okay.
It's a mix of contractors, full-time employees, and part-time. But yeah, about 22.
That is a large number of people to be responsible for.
Yes, it is.
That is more, think about it this way. You're 28, 29?
Yeah, I just turned 28 in November.
Okay. Yeah. You're 28 years old running a company of 22 employees and contractors. That is more than most people will ever manage in their entire life.
I mean, yes, but I never compare to people who don't do that. I compare to people who are 17 or 18 and run 350 employee, 3,000 employee, like unicorn companies that are selling for billions. Like when I see that type of stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm nothing. I'm nobody.
I'm not shit.
This is nothing. This is so insignificant. So
still though, I think that's wildly impressive. And if you look at it within the context of there's a whole lot of people that they're in their, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're responsible for a team of 15, maybe. And that's depending on the career path.
Well, dude, like the thing is that they help me so much. They are so incredible at what they do. And a lot of our staff, they're A players. They're people who fill gaps that I could never do what they do. So I don't see it as so much as like a burden of like, I have to just manage these people. Like they are driving a lot of the value of what we do. I mean, I keep the lights on. I like make sure the ship is driving in a certain direction. I get us business and stuff, but they're the ones who keep it. They're the ones who fulfill on what I'm promising people to pay me thousands of dollars to do. They're the ones who are doing it. I don't film. I don't edit. I don't know the first thing about posting a hashtag or anything on social media. I'll put that out there right now. I know nothing about social media. I know very little about it.
You know enough about social media to run a social media company.
Exactly.
No, dude, y'all did such a good job of hiring. I remember when I was talking to you about trying to hire a VA, I was like, I need to find a Myrna. I was like, that's what I want, because like the interactions that I had with her in the Slack channel and whatever calls that I would have, like I think early on she was on some of the calls with Jamie, maybe. I was like sitting there, I was like, I need someone that's this on their shit.
Oh my God, Myrna.
She's awesome.
Is my right-hand person. I love her so much. And big shout out to Myrna. And we just found her on Upwork.
Yeah.
And, people say bad things about things like Fiverr, Upwork, those types of things. And yeah, like it's a cesspool. You're going to find a lot of people who don't care or are not as skilled as they're claiming to be. But I just got so lucky with her. And she's been with us for years, and she's so talented, organized. She makes my life so much better. I don't start a workday without getting on a call with Myrna and looking at all my tasks for the day. I do this every day, Monday to Friday. The first thing I do in my workday, and which is at 10:45 a.m., because I don't want to start my workday until 11. 10:45 a.m. every day, I do a 15-minute standing call with her, where I go through my Asana tasks and use kind of the Eisenhower matrix of like, what do I need to do today? What do I need to schedule? What do I need to just eliminate completely? And what do I need to delegate? And she helps me get crystal clear clarity of what I need to do that day, that week, that month.
What is an Eisenhower matrix?
So what I just described there is basically if maybe we can edit it on here. If you just make a cross, a plus sign in the top left quadrant, you got urgent and important on both matrices, right? Okay. Urgent, important, not important. I'm butchering this explanation, but pretty much
drink more, that'll help.
Pretty much the top left quadrant is most important and most urgent. Those are the things that you must do.
Yeah.
The second quadrant is it is very important, but it's not urgent. Right?
Like that can be done tomorrow.
It can be done later. Like it's not on fire. Like, it does need to be done, but it's not that important. And important is talking about like, does it drive your long-term goals forward?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's like the big thing that I struggled with at first is like, well, everything's important and everything's urgent all the time. Not true. When you take a step back and look at it, it's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, this is important, but if I don't do it today, like, are all my business, personal, and life goals going to fall apart? No, I can do this next week and it'll be fine, right? So then you schedule it. Then there's not important, but it is urgent. Okay, that's something that you schedule. It's like, okay, well, hey, look, organizing my tools in my garage. Like, okay, well, like it's not that important for me to do right now, but I would like to get it done at some point. You schedule that for the future. And then finally, if it's not urgent and not important, this is a really tough one. You just delete it. You just don't do it. Like, why is it even on your to-do list? Like, create this playlist. Like, it's not urgent. It's not important. Just don't even do it. And if you want to get it done, you can just delegate it. Someone else could do it for you. Hey, make this playlist based on these preferences. So once you start getting in that habit, you start viewing everything through this Eisenhower matrix. And yeah, Mirna's has helped me a ton with that.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
I'll drink to that. I'll drink to Mirna.
To Mirna. Hell yeah. The irony of us drinking to someone that's living in a country where I don't think you can drink is, I find that a little bit funny, but
oh man, she'd love it. Humor.
Anywho, so you also into combat sports, boxing, getting hit in the face by people that, have been fighting for a long, long time. You're empty, sir. You can't be sitting here pressuring me to drink and then falling behind. I will not stand for this. This is my show, sir. These are my rules, and you will drink.
Sorry, Mom.
It's okay. My mom's going to watch this too and be like, oh my God, my baby. But
I have recently started dabbling in the MMA world. I would say just more so boxing and like a little bit of Muay Thai. I love it, man. I got the bug. I'm addicted. It's really, really fun. I will not say that I am good. I am not a professional. I'm not even an amateur. I haven't even had my first official fight, but I'm training for my first amateur fight this year. I don't know when it's going to be yet. I'm still figuring out, how that whole thing works, but I am training and I just love it, man. There's just something to be said about, growing up playing football, having team sports and everything that I've gotten from that. And like, just learning about discipline and camaraderie and leadership and these skills that I take with me and have made me today in the context of business, relationships, life. Team sports taught me so much, but there's something about an individual sport where I can't rely on the fact that I got an all-star quarterback or this insane safety who's this crazy playmaker, or myself who's doing things that, maybe some other team they don't have that skill set. It's not a team thing anymore. And although there are a lot of people in your corner, it takes a whole village. There's so many, people involved in like the success of a fighter. At the end of the day, it's you and another grown man or woman in a cage, ring, some sort of confined area where you're fighting. I mean, I don't want to be dramatic, but like all things equal, if this wasn't like 2024, you're fighting to the death.
Yeah.
Like that's what this is simulating. And so there's something so primal about it. And I do encourage any young man who's looking for something to get excited about with life. That form of competition has just given me that spark again that I've been missing, with sports and whatnot.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I always equate it. I think jiu-jitsu and baseball are very similar, just in a very different context. Baseball technically is a team sport, but in reality, most of it is a one-on-one battle. It is a pitcher and a batter. Yeah, there's a catcher. Shut up, nerd. It is a one-on-one battle. Yeah, you have the people in the field that have to make the plays, whatever. It is far less of a team sport and far more of an individual sport when you boil it down to that thing. Jiu-jitsu is a very similar context, at least to me, because you have a training room where there is a team component of it, because you have to get good training rounds if you want to be super competitive. Again, I am not a competitor. I like this because it's a good hobby, and I don't want to get put in a hospital because someone blows my knee out with a heel hook and I'm like half-ass training. But you have a room where you have that team component. But when it comes down to it, very similar to baseball, it is you and the dude across from you and the ref. In baseball, it is you and the batter and the umpire. And they're very similar in that capacity. Probably same thing for boxing.
Yeah, there's something so pure about that, right? It's at the end of the day, there's no hiding. How much training have you done? How much have you been watching your diet? How much are you on top of your cardio? Are you getting good sleep? Are you, actually like taking less stress? Are you doing mindfulness stuff? Like it's such an all-encompassing thing. A lot of other sports, I feel like you can get away with being like a bit of a shithead. Mm-hmm. Like you can actually like ride off a lot of talent and, obviously still lift or like show up to practice or whatnot. But, you can get away with like not maximal effort. Ask a professional fighter if they can get away with just like, other than maybe John Jones, but like there's very few anomalies in the entire sport where it's like you are not going to prepare 100% to your capacity for getting in the ring with another person. Like individual sports, whole different ball game, and I really, really, really enjoy that because I didn't have that growing up.
It's kind of cathartic. Like we were talking about this at the gym. It's very difficult to go once you start training in any sort of combat sport, bro. Weightlifting is fucking boring.
So boring.
You sit there and you go train in whatever. You go grapple for an hour. You go strike for an hour. You do that, and then you go to the gym. Literally, we were sitting there talking about it. It's like, okay, yeah, I can sit there. I can go on my phone between sets, and it's like, oh, well, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Or you can push yourself as hard as you want, and you still have that time in between sets, and it sucks and whatever.
And there's a few things there, and we were talking about it, earlier today, like you said, when we're at the gym, and one of them I've found, and because I genuinely have told a lot of people this, I find lifting just like straight up like so boring. I get nothing from a deadlift PR or being able to bench 3 plates or whatever. That is all meaningless to me. I could not care less. And it's because, first of all, I don't want that body type. I couldn't care less. Mm-hmm. Second of all, you're so present when you are doing something like a combat sport, like a lot of sports, like your phone's nowhere to be seen. You can't even like lose attention for 1 millisecond, or you're going to get caught and you're going to get slapped and you're going to get embarrassed in front of your friends and family and people that you care about. That, if that's not reason enough to like step up and like get your shit together, like I don't know what is. So, and also with that presence comes like pure flow. You enter into a flow state. I'm sure you don't know what time it is throughout your session at any given time. Like you're rolling, you're problem solving, you're playing. Honestly, that's another factor. It's like we've lost play.
Yeah.
What is playing about going to the gym? About like picking up a dumbbell and like squeezing and extending. That's not, what kind of playground would you do that on, right? Whereas we grew up, we'd roll around, we'd wrestle with our friends, we'd beat each other up. It was just something that we naturally did, and something that I'm learning as I get older is that like, kids actually have a lot figured out. Like they are living life maximally with what they got. They're having fun. They're making time for it. They're in flow. They're like playing, rolling around, getting dirty, not giving a fuck about things that we as adults care so much about. So it's like finding that play again. I think that, things like jujitsu, things like even team sports, things like whatever kind of kinetic movement you can do with your body that has some kind of competition element to it, it adds play again, which I love.
Yeah. It's funny because literally one of the things Brandon says all the time, he's like, when you're in here, he's like, you need to be playing. He's like, you need to be playing around. He's like, oh no, you got tapped in the training room. Who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. Try, like, go for it. Try and execute some stuff that you just learned. Play around with it. See what happens. And that's honestly one of the biggest things that you start, at least in my experience, you start to get a little bit more of it as you progress through a jiu-jitsu system, is when you're a white belt, the first 3 to 6 months, you're sitting there and you're just trying to get over your fight or flight response because, oh my God, this man across from me is trying to kill me. Mm-hmm. And your central nervous system is like red alert, get the hell out of here. And you do a whole bunch of stupid stuff and you're spazzy and you gas out. It's so like, dude, you'll roll with like a really, really new white belt and they'll be in a dominant position. You'll just be like, okay, here, take it. And they're sitting there and they're like in top side control, like hyperventilating. It's like, dog, you're winning. Why are you breathing so heavy? Just relax. And they don't know how to bring it down. And then you get to a certain point and it's like you and your buddy are rolling and it's like you catch them with something. It's like, okay, I got your at. And then you go back to it and you just keep moving around and that's where you put pieces together instead of sitting there like maximal effort 24/7.
That's one of my closest friends, Scott. Shout out Scott. I mean, he's obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And whenever I go back home and we get to reconnect and talk about it, he talks about that bond even between his coach and training partners and stuff. And that play component is so important. And it takes time, but as you progress and as you get a little bit more comfortable, you become more competent. Mm-hmm. And therefore you become more confident, right? Because now it's like, okay, even if I'm not a black belt, maybe I'm a whatever. I don't know the belts, like
blue belt, purple belt,
blue,
whatever.
purple, whatever, brown. You're not a black belt, but I would venture to guess that if you have been doing jiu-jitsu for a year, 2 years, you can have fun with someone who is superior to you because they will know, they have been where you are. they will have a certain level of respect for that, and they will play with you. They will mess with you. And you got to be able to like take that and be like, yeah, this person is so much better than me. I mean, I get to experience that all the time. Luckily, my trainer is, you know, an actual former professional Bellator fighter, right? He's not active currently, but this dude, I mean, you feel it. Yeah, you know it when you.
I rolled with him. I know how that felt.
So, like, when even like messing around with this guy, he'll be like, "Look, I'm only going to use my jab. I'm not even going to everything else. I'm not going to even use it." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, I actually might have a chance to tag this guy." You realize, oh no, like, there's so many levels, and then there's dudes who probably make him look like shit. So it's like, he's just dancing around you, like with one arm behind his back, one eye closed, on one knee. It'll still mess me up. It's like, okay, there's levels to this stuff. And there's two ways you could take that. You can get really pissed off and throw a fit and be like, this isn't for me, and I quit, and like, oh, I'll never get there or whatever. Or you can kind of take a slice of humble pie and be like, oh yeah, no, I am not shit. But you know what? I'm just going to try to get better next time. And then, sometimes I've tagged him. And you'll be like, and you're like, oh.
Got you, okay.
And then, you can dance, and it's fun. And so to me, man, look, just bringing it back to like an actual concise point here. If I'm a young dude or woman who's just looking for some outlet, some way to play, some way to connect, some way to use my kinetic energy and channel it into something, do MMA, man. Honestly, forget about team sports if you have the choice, because yes, there's so much positive about that, but like, man, like that relationship that you create with yourself and the discipline and the tenacity that you build, oh man, it's incredible.
And you talked about a couple of things there. One, you were talking about like the bond, and we were talking about this again earlier. I have a firm belief, and this is just a total pet theory, you develop a subconscious trust of guys that you train with, and you will develop a friendship or a trust with them far quicker than you would in any normal setting, because your reptilian brain knows this man has had the opportunity to break my arm, break my leg, blow my ACL out, break my foot, whatever, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And every single time he's let go. So there's a part of you just like subconsciously, you're like, okay, like I know he's good for it. Like I know he's not going to fuck me over. And two, you were talking about the progression of everything. I think I told you this story last night when we were in the car. Lenny, who was one of my coaches at Odyssey, I was still a white belt, and he looked at me out of nowhere, and he's like, you would kill the version of you that walked in here 6 months ago? And he just said that out of nowhere. And I looked at him, and he goes, yeah, keep training, and just walked off. And he said it like it was nothing. I have thought about that quote every single week for the last 3 years, at least once. And I think there was another portion of it at some point. He said something to the effect of, 6 months. That's what it was. He was like, yeah, in 6 months from now, you'll kill this version of you even easier. Keep training and walk. It's like, what the fuck? And I think about that all the time, dude. I thought about that literally last week while I was at training. I was like, oh my God, what would I do to the day one white belt version of me that walks in here? I was like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Like, that's horrifying. And then you still have people on the internet. They're like, nah, bro, you don't understand my mentality. It's like, very cool. Your mentality is cool. Hold this guillotine. Sick mentality. Go to sleep. Thanks. Mentality won't get you out of that.
No, seriously, bro. I've felt it too. There's been some like
that fly's pissing me off.
I know, man.
That's gonna be a problem.
If we want, we can get rid of it. Oh.
Dude, I thought you were a boxer. You're supposed to have hands. Oh, what'd you say? Never mind. I was talking too much shit. All right.
So yeah, what I was basically saying is that when it comes to that progression, I look back at videos of me a year ago when I kind of just started getting into this, and I was training with my business partner Jamie and my current trainer, and so it was me and Jamie doing partner stuff, and it was wildly unfair because we're just such different weight classes. So it wasn't a good training matchup, right? Yeah. You and I would be a better one, and even that is unfair.
Weight classes exist for a reason.
Exactly. And so, I was just looking at videos the other day. I was like, oh my God, this dude was so pathetic. Like just watching how I threw a jab and my footwork and my stances and my rotational force and just my kinetic relationship with my body. Like I didn't move well, right? Like I always had an athletic base, but like I was not moving well. And the footwork is so important. The cardio, the pacing, the feinting, the like all these different things that you start to develop. And now, you know, I'm not saying that I'm good or anything like that. I'm really not trying to come on here and be like, oh yeah, like I'm fucking sick. But you know, I've gone into different like boxing gyms and stuff, and I've like done some like a little bit of sparring and just a little bit of like play, like just fun with people and stuff. And I'll like unintentionally like not tune people up, but like I'll kind of have to like, yo, are you okay? Like I totally thought that you would know how to like defend that. It's like, no, I've been boxing for 4 years. Like, you're just good. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you start to like feel those moments. It's like, oh, maybe I'm like not too bad. Like maybe I'm all right. But then other times I'll get fucked up. I'll get my jaw popping out of place because some fucking dude I'm sparring with just like cracked me too many times. And my cardio's just so shit that I'm just like, I'm getting lazy and my hands are coming down and so it's like one of these give and take sports where like, it's kind of an emotional roller coaster. It's like, dude, you can't get too high and you can't get too low. You got to kind of stay even keel and you got to just keep showing up because that previous version of you is looking up to future version of you. Like, yo, I'm just glad he kept going.
And that future version of you is looking back at you like, thank God he kept going because if he didn't, good God, were we pathetic.
100%, man. Yes.
It's like that Musashi quote. Like, it's so fucking, it's been repeated ad nauseum, but it's like, once you see the way in one thing, you see it in all things because that's the exact same thing with business. It's the exact same thing. Again, regardless of how boring in the gym with whatever, it's like, you just got to kind of keep it moving. And then.
Yeah. Well, some people, dude, like what we're talking about right now with the whole gym thing, like not everyone feels that way. There are some people who do derive like a genuine like joy and addiction to the gains and progress that they get just in the gym.
I used to be that way.
There's people like that. And like, there's some people who just like, they'd get cracked once and be like, I'm never fucking doing this again. Or they'd get choked out one time, but like, I was not in control of my body. I'm not fucking doing that. Like, so to each their own, man. Find your thing. If it's Pilates, if it's yoga on the beach, if it's going for long walks or like doing incline walks, or dude, I'm not going to judge anyone.
You're doing a lot of Pilates, Deepak.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of Pilates.
I've never done it in my life. I don't actually really know what it is.
All I know is you hook your legs up to some little machine.
No, you do not.
Bro, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You're fucking with me.
You've never seen the girls post shit on Instagram when they go to Pilates on Sunday morning? You've never seen this?
No.
You're following the wrong people on Instagram. No, dude, literally there's like a little sled. There's a little sled and they have like these little things that you like put your fucking the bottom of your feet into and it's like a core and leg workout. You like sit there and like launch yourself up this sled and you do a bunch of crazy shit.
I've seen the sled thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like some component of it where their like feet are in it or their hands are in it. And it's like it's a crazy thing, man.
I didn't know that that's what Pilates is. I thought it was just doing like fucking core shit and like, you know, like let's fucking do some obliques or like
You thought Pilates was jazzercise.
Okay, well yeah, some
was jazzercise.
To each their own, you know, do your Zumba.
Shout out jazzercise, dude. Bro, they should bring jazzercise back. You know how sick that would be? Except now people would just do Molly and go to jazzercise. They would be in a jazzercise class just on another planet.
In Miami, you know, bumping. Club Space.
Stop it.
They
Stop
have,
right now.
They have something called 420 yoga. So 420 every Saturday. They have hundreds of people and there's a wait list.
That's also called jujitsu.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You know, something for everybody.
420 yoga at anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just thought that was clever.
That was literally the point. It's just like there is something for everyone. And I just encourage people to just get out and move because I think that movement is like the starting point of taking care of your mental, emotional, and spiritual health is through your body.
I heard a guy talking about movement, and he was talking, and actually, it was through functional patterns, and he was talking about movement and evolution and all of these things. And he was like, humans really, we were moving and we were running far before we were thinking at a conscious level like we are now. And so his like pet theory supposedly is that your movement is directly correlated to your happiness and your overall well-being, because you were moving and you were being required to move in a relatively demanding manner. Like, let's be real, if you're running from lions on the Sahara or whatever, you're not just like going for a little walk. It's probably like, oh my God, that's a lion over there. We got to get the hell up that tree or whatever so we don't get killed. And he was like, if you are not moving, you are fundamentally setting back your entire like mental well-being. And so I think it was Nadi Aguilar.
Okay.
He's a functional patterns guy that's like the head of functional patterns. He's a very controversial man, apparently. He's got like 100,000 followers on Instagram. I followed him for a while before I started doing functional patterns. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it makes a ton of sense though, man. Like when you actually, you ever get done some sprints or play a pickup basketball game or some volleyball or something where your heart rate is just going crazy, you feel so good after.
Yeah.
And all anxiety, all everything disappears. All of a sudden, you're just even, still, quiet, calm. Now, life happens and then it all comes back and then you start looking at your phone and everything starts going crazy again. But for like this brief moment and period, and I know you experienced this. I don't even have to ask. Like, I know you experienced this after like crazy jujitsu session, workout, whatever, you're drilling or whatever. And like, you just sit there after at the end of it and you're just kind of like breathing and you're like, I'm not thinking about anything. Like I
just am. The car ride home after jujitsu, most of the time the car ride home after jujitsu, you're just sitting there and you're just like in a good mood. At least for me. Well, oftentimes I'm in a bad mood, but I'm mellow. I'm mellow and in a bad mood because it's like, oh my God, I got absolutely fucking dogged out for 6 rounds. That wasn't fun. But you sit there and it's all that anxiety fades away. It goes back to the lifting thing and how, lifting's a little bit boring. You're forced to be entirely present because guess what? If you're boxing and you're sitting there thinking like, oh damn, I wonder if I took the grocery store, crack. Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm going to fight. I'm back here. You're sitting there thinking about, whatever problems you're having with some relationship and you're in a jiu-jitsu room. Oh, wait, I'm going unconscious. Oh, I should probably oh, damn, I should probably focus. It's like the concentration part while you're rolling is not a difficult thing. That's being present. And if you're not moving, you don't get any of that. You're sitting at home watching Netflix having friggin' Sunday scaries or whatever. Sunday scaries are fake. That's a psyop. Dude, just keep drinking. Be a man. Come on. Keep it pushing. You'll be fine. But
yeah.
No, so relating all this back to a business context. So now you're at a point where you've got 22 different employees. You're running this company that's got, a lot of clients. You guys are doing some pretty, at least in my opinion, some pretty ridiculous numbers on a monthly revenue basis. Where does that start? How do you go from what it was you, Jamie, and Hayden Christina in Colombia, like signing anyone you can? What is that growth process from like, hey, look, we'll take whatever business we can to now you're literally working? I mean, I don't want to sit here and name drop your clients on a podcast, but you're working with some really impressive people.
Yeah, one of them's this guy named Dallas.
Not impressive compared to the people you work with, sir. It's really cool because I get to be a really, really small fish in a big pond whenever I hang out with you guys. You're saying like, oh yeah, this guy founded this company and it sold for, this ridiculous amount of money. Oh yeah, this guy does this, this, and this. This is really impressive. Dallas, what do you do? And I'm like, I sell people debt. That's about it.
Dallas, bro, you're a fucking winner through and through. I have to say that. I have to take a fucking second and give you your flowers, bro. You're a dog, man, and you are a future multi millionaire, if not billionaire.
No.
Probably billionaire.
Probably not.
You're probably an accidental billionaire. And yeah, time just hasn't caught up yet. So give yourself a little bit more credit than that, sir. But to answer your question more specifically, man, I don't know. I don't know how we end up here today, man. And I wish I could tell you some beautiful, eloquent, like, step one is what you need to do is create a business plan and map out your 5-year journey. And what you need to do is, this is the type of marketing. I have no fucking idea. And I'm just going to be so raw with you right now, bro, if that's okay. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing every single day. That's why I need a strong team around me, right? That's why I need people who have skill sets that I do not. I am just a mere connector of dots. And that's something that fortunately I identified in myself at a younger age. I am the hardest working lazy motherfucker in the room. I will do insane things to not do things, right? And so I identified pretty early on in my business journey that for me, I don't want to be the actual like person doing the service delivery. I feel very jaded and against selling my time for money. So what I do instead is sell all my time, energy, and free will to trying to create something that eventually will not require as much of me. So I could sit here for hours and just talk about, the millions of different business decisions that I've made that have gotten us here. But at the end of the day, I recognize that my skill set and my strength was in connecting the dots with getting in between the flow of money. The money is going to exchange hands anyways. How do I put a bucket in this waterfall and try to collect some of that? And the only way that I found to be able to do that was to really pay attention to like human behavior and psychology and what do people actually want? What are their core desires? And it really breaks down to health, wealth, and some form of happiness or relationships. Those are really the things, the core desires that people have, right? And so, okay, if I want to help people make more money, then I need to give them some way to make more money than they currently have, right? And so I am very fortunate and lucky that, through trial and error and through running a few different little businesses, they were not businesses. I was a glorified freelancer. I found that, I had this skill set in being able to like sell a job before I had any way of fulfilling on it. And I would get someone to fulfill on it and I would make the difference. And I was like, I'm just going to keep doing that. And then luckily I met my business partner, Jamie. I believe that he is a creative genius. I think that he's very, very talented at what he does. And he is the person who is very good at the technical, the strategy for the actual client, the service delivery, fulfilling on the thing that I'm selling to people. So we just started doing that at kind of I'm not going to say a huge scale, but at a bigger scale than just one client, 2 client, 3 client. Currently we have about 30, but that's nothing on the grand scheme of things. I just realized that I'm never going to be the editor. I'm not going to be the strategist. I'm not going to be the videographer. I'm not going to be the social media manager. But I can find all of those and I can get people to like the outcome of having all of those and I can make the spread. Like, that's kind of how I've viewed business and kind of the last 4 years doing this. That's what I've realized I'm really good at, but I don't do that without a team, without incredible people around me.
That's a hell of a lot more authentic than what a lot of the stories are. Like you were hearing a motherfucker tell a story and they're like, this is the picture of my bank account. Well, I had $4.17. I'm like, bro, when I'm in a bad spot, let me tell you, the last thing on my list is let me take a picture of how fucked up this situation is. It's like, bro, we have problems. We got to get moving. Not sitting there like, I almost overdrew my bank account to buy this McDonald's hamburger. It's like, bro, you are lying to me. I don't know about what. I don't know when it's coming, but you're lying to me either right now or in the future. People like that. It's like you're selling something. Yeah. Like you're selling something and it smells from the rip. But that's a hell of a lot more raw than most stories, motherfucker. So thank you.
No, I appreciate you giving me the space to tell it, man. Because yeah, man, people sit here and they're just hawking so many random things and they're just trying to market you a certain reality of who they are. But I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to give you who I normally am anyways. And I'm just trying to be as fucking me as possible because that's what's gotten me here today. And that's what's going to get me where I'm going. So why change that for anybody and anybody listening, including my parents? I love you guys to death, but I stopped caring about how I'm perceived online a while ago. And obviously, within reason, there are certain very few things that you keep off air, but everything else, man, it's like, why hide it? Because if I am 85-year-old me and I go back and I watch this podcast, which if I live that long, I would love to do that.
We need to have a party when you turn 85.
Right? Watch the episode.
Rewatch this shit.
I want to be proud of that person. Not because of what I said or how I looked or what I did or whatever, but because I'll know that was who you were at that moment. That was you at your blue belt. Yeah. And I'm happy with that. And I tell you about, now you're crushing it with this podcast journey now. I've been doing it for a little while. I haven't been the most consistent at it, but I look back at some of my first episodes with my podcast and I cringe so hard, dude.
Can I ask you about it?
Oh my God.
You know which one I'm going to talk about. Interviewing Andrew Tate.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So through someone tweeted something and, Andrew Tate was like, hey, I'm trying to get people on my podcast. And a buddy of mine was like, kind of tagged me. Half as a joke, I think. I think he was serious, but I don't think he thought it was gonna get his attention. Mm-hmm. Somehow it did. I end up DMing with Andrew Tate, and he was like, "How many YouTube subscribers do you have?" That's all he cared about. It's because he was trying to get exposure. This is 2019, 2020. I forgot.
Right before he blew up.
Right before he
Which also, Andrew Tate had been a big thing on that corner of Twitter for dude, I remember.
He was huge on Twitter.
I remember Andrew Tate talking about the 2016 election. Dude, I've been following Tate. No, he's a wild man to follow. Which also free Top G.
I've been following
that in there. Let's make that apparent.
I've been following the Top G for a long time with you on Money Twitter and all this stuff as well. He was the guy on there, and end up DMing him, and he's asking me about all my subscribers and all this stuff. And I had maybe 200 subscribers on YouTube. The biggest podcast I had to that point maybe had 1,000 views, and I was the mayor of my city. That was that
was a big deal.
A big deal up until that point. So I have very little case studies. I'm just this random guy from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I kind of just told him, I'm like, dude, I forgot what I said. I said something along the lines of I have this many hours of watch time, which sounded like some insane number, this many 1,000 hours of watch time, which I did have, but I just completely skirted his other questions. I was like, he's going to look at that and laugh, 200 subscribers, whatever. So long story short, I end up getting him on the show. I remember being nervous. I was actually nervous. I usually don't get nervous for the guest, the podcast itself. I'm usually, I was telling you, nervous about stupid technical things or an SD card running out of space or a battery dying or something, is not tight enough. For this podcast episode, because it was at the height of the pandemic, we were doing it remote. Excuse me. And I was not I hadn't done remote podcasts before that really. So it was new to me. I was how are we gonna? I would have flown to him or had him come out. I knew this was gonna be a big deal because he was already on his way up in terms of popularity. And I just remember being so nervous about it, but being you know what, it'll be fine. He's just a guy. How many guys of him? Whatever. And I get on the episode with him, the pre-episode, before we start recording, and we're just talking about it. This dude was the nicest guy, most genuine. And when I say that, I'm not just saying that. I could just not say this because I'm being completely honest. He was going out of his way to be so sweet, kind, and nice to me. He was asking me about like what do you do? Like how long you been doing this? Like how's your day going? Like, he seemed to care. He wasn't like too big headed or whatever. I don't know what he's like now, but I know him then, sweetest dude. And then we hit record. And you saw him switch into character. You knew that like, oh, look, where'd that guy go? And I'm not saying he wasn't nice, kind. Like he was actually like really, really cool with me throughout the episode. And I did a horrible job. I just want to say I did such a bad job in that podcast. I kept interrupting him. I didn't let him finish any points. Like I was so nervous and it showed so hard. Then I was trying to act so like cool or like on his level that like it came off like so cringe. And like if anyone wants to have a nice laugh, go and watch the YouTube video and go look at the comments. I get absolutely destroyed in those comments. Sometimes when I need to be humbled, I go read them. Because that video's got like 50K views. Like it's like,
oh shit.
Yeah, dude, that video like has done the rounds in the Tate community. Like
no shit.
And people hate me. How the fuck did you get an interview with Tate? You're the worst fucking interviewer, piece of trash. Stop interrupting, you bag of dicks. Like, bro, literally, like I go read the comments. They're so funny, but I don't care. Like I find that shit funny too.
Hey, fucking YouTube commenters. And if you've been watching my content, you'll know YouTube commenters are not real people. If you leave negative comments on YouTube, you're an NPC. Your vote doesn't get counted. You go to the ballot box, they look at your name and they know you're a fake person. And they go, oh, we'll throw this one out because this guy's not a real human. Am I gaslighting people on YouTube? Yes, dude. And I'm good at it. Dude, ignore them. Ignore every comment.
I love your YouTube comments.
Ignore every one of them, dude, because they're not real.
I love fake. Your TikToks. I love your TikTok. Like people just come on there and just like, should be talking about some jujitsu thing or something like that. They'll just be like, no, I bet you never even fought. I bet you never even like actually trained. Yeah. It's like, is this even worth like me like taking a second, like brain energy to respond to?
I will. I will. You come in my comments, it's war, dog. Like we can go to war and I'll put my face on there. Guess what? You're limited because you're scared. You're hiding behind the wall of text. You won't put your face out there because you're a coward. Your username is AQ76BGE. That's your username. You have no profile picture. And guess what? You just write comments, dog. I'll hop on there with my face. I'll talk shit. Come on. Talk shit. Let's go. Let's dance. No, you're scared. Bro, pull up, motherfucker. It's game on. Bro, I don't even like jujitsu. I just train jujitsu so I can fuck up TikTok commenters, dude. I don't even like it. It's not even fun. Jujitsu's trash. I just do it so I can fight YouTube commenters. That's where this pivots to. I go from podcasting to beating up YouTube commenters. Hey, man. And the motherfuckers that tell me I'm small. Bro, if I get one more comment of someone that says I'm like 5'6", it's like, bro, I'll tell people I'm 5'11" because that's funny, right? But you saw the text on the way over here. Like, I'm more surprised you didn't say something about being 5'11".
Oh my God.
No, dude, that's literally the only reason to train is just so you can tune up YouTube and TikTok commenters. Because, dude, they're not real people. There's no ramifications. This is not legal advice, by the way. But anyways, end of rant.
I think I just found my why. I think I just found my purpose.
Do you want to tune up people that talk shit about your Andrew Tate interview?
Yes, now I do.
You wake up in the morning and you don't feel like doing it and you think, damn, I could murk that kid that was talking shit in my comments. Like, dude, that's a good time.
All of a sudden runs 10K, spars 3 times in a day, and just does everything.
Dude, you ever seen those videos? Is it Sonny Liston? There's one of those guys that's like running and he's just screaming, he's like, war! Like while he's jogging, like getting ready for a match. That's you getting ready to box a TikTok commenter.
I'm ready for it, man. That's what we don't have enough of. That should be the undercard of these like influencer fights.
Yeah, dude.
Bouts. It's like commenters.
This is Deepak Sharma fighting the guy that said, you're the worst interviewer ever. You ate a bag of dicks. You should never be allowed to interview again. And it's just you putting the kid in the hospital, dude. That's the undercard. It's a freak show. Why are we pretending that they're real? Quit pretending they're real fights. Quit showing me this backup elementary school art teacher fighting some dude that's an Uber driver in his spare time. I don't want to see that. I want to see a dude that says, I just see Red get his ACL ripped into 15 pieces by a purple belt. That goes, oh, jiu-jitsu doesn't work? You just stand up? Okay, let's find out. And then he goes to the hospital screaming and the purple belt gets 50 grand. And we'll call it a day, dude. That's good.
I think you just figured out your new promotion.
Dude, I'm putting on a fight promotion, dude. I'm interviewing Baby Goose tomorrow, bro. I'm gonna be like, all right, here, I've got a proposition for you. I understand you're like on a fast track, you're 5-0 as a pro fighter. Put all that on hold. You're gonna fight people that talk shit in the comments. That's what we're gonna do.
That's gonna be a fun one, bro.
No, he's a cool dude. He's a bad motherfucker. Mm-hmm. That was watching MMA. Here's the thing. You watch MMA on a TV, it's one thing. You go, oh my God, that guy got fucked up. The first ever MMA fight I went to was a PFL event here in Atlanta. Me and my buddy Ryan went to this thing. Bro, a guy got flatlined with a head kick. The sound of the thud of that shin hitting his chin and then the follow-up thud of his head hitting the canvas, I was like, oh,
I'll bounce your head off the fucking canvas.
Exactly. And that motherfucker did. Yeah. And bro, you hear it hit the mat, hit the canvas, and you're like, oh my God. That's 5 less years that he's gonna know his kid's name. Like, it's horrifying. This guy that I'm interviewing tomorrow literally tuned this guy up. And me and a buddy of mine, Austin from Odyssey, were like right next to the cage. Bro, he had this dude backed up on the cage, ground and pound. The guy stands up and he just takes off flying knee, and the guy's just like, and the ref stopped the fight. Dude, I'm sorry. You got to be a different fucking breed of human to lock yourself in a cage and be like, all right, we'll just get after whatever methods necessary.
I want to make it super abundantly clear on this podcast that, like, I can't be mentioned in the same conversation as these people.
Nor can I. Nor can most people.
They're a different breed. I train for fun, for something to, just get me going, for some primal urges, energy, release, exercise. Hey, chill. No Diddy, dog.
Dog, what the fuck you on?
But
no Diddy.
but I'm not in the same conversation as the type of person who goes in a cage professionally or even not professionally. Like, there's something different about a person who's willing to do that. I am not willing to do that. I like my face and everything else, and my cognitive ability.
That's the scariest thing to me, is the punch this thing real quick. The CTE side of stuff. Like, you see people like Antonio Brown running around. He's like joking. And he's like, CTE, ESPN. It's like, dog, that's not a joke. You're losing your brain and you're 35. You think football's going to be legal a decade from now? 2 decades from now?
I don't. I think it'll be legal, but it's going to change to basically flag. It's going to be flag with like head guards.
You go back and you watch NFL big hit highlights from the early 2000s and you're like, oh my God, this is horrifying. You watch Brian Dawkins send people to the hospital.
Before every football game, I used to watch those fucking highlights, or even Sean Taylor, or like fucking Ray Lewis, or seeing these people just like put people in a body bag for a living. There was an era that we grew up watching of football that was just so unfiltered and so like, hey, looks clean to me, right? Where
targeting, what's that?
I've kind of lost my passion for watching NFL because of how soft the sport has become. However, I don't blame them. They have to do something. From a business and optics standpoint, you have to do something, bro.
They should ideate.
Fuck off. You're not gonna let that one go, are you?
Bro, I can't believe you said ideate. Bro. I've heard you say ideate 0 times in your life. That was hilarious.
Fuck you. You caught me in one inauthentic moment. You asked me about my fucking agency within the first 5 seconds of your podcast, Dallas. That is sales call questions, bro. That is, so absolutely, we ideate, strategize. Like, I went in my mode, dog. Fuck you.
Go ideate about it.
Fuck off. Piece of shit.
That was too funny, dude. I love that. No, you watch what goes on and you're like, it is a matter. Dude, what's his name? Junior Seau killed himself, right? He shot himself in the chest because he was like, oh, I know my brain's fried. Everyone said Aaron Hernandez had CTE real bad. Antonio Brown clearly has CTE. All these guys clearly have significant brain trauma. And everyone's still like, yeah, whatever. It's the cost of doing business. It's like, bro, you can give me however much money you want. I'm not putting my brain through that. You ever see that thing about the kid that was the quarterback for like Washington State? He was like 21 years old and killed himself. They went and looked at his brain. They did an autopsy. He had the brain of like a 60-something-year-old Alzheimer's patient as a 20-something-year-old quarterback. It's like, bro, you're the safest position on the field outside of a kicker or a punter. And you're getting it that bad? Like,
but think about it, right? Pee Wee Tyke, like growing up playing Little League, like playing what do they call it? What's Little League?
Warner.
Pop Warner. Growing up playing Pop Warner, then you go to high school, then you go to college, then you make it to the NFL. Maybe your practice squad, like whatever. Like, I mean, this guy was in college, right?
I think he was at Washington State. Bro, he was like 21, 22.
Bro, you sustained so many micro hits and then so many major hits at that point. Like, I remember, dude, growing up playing football and, excuse me, like I actually like grew up in the era where like it was still okay to like hit somebody. It was celebrated to like fuck somebody up, like full tilt, like no responsibility about how you're tackling this person. Like that was celebrated. It's like you were the fucking man. Imagine you're a developing child basically, and you're being celebrated and getting validation and glory from like your teammates, your friends, your peers for doing something that is super fucked up for your body and brain and everything. You do that enough and you start like you almost become desensitized to it. And so I'd have coaches like literally come up to me. I swear to God, take my fucking face mask and with their bare skull fucking headbutt me before games. And I always was super uncomfortable being like the only brown dude on the team. I was like, what kind of white people shit is this, bro? Did you just... Like one time a coach of mine, he fucking came up to me and was like, are you ready to fuck these guys up? I was like, yeah, man. Like I was like a little more even keel about it. He was like, no, like this is to go to the playoffs. Like this is, you don't understand what's at stake here. I'm like, I totally understand. Like
this is 8th grade Canadian football, my guy.
We have
Relax.
3 downs, sir. We don't even have the 4th down. So he comes and fucking takes my helmet and boom, like headbutts it. Gets a gash in his forehead and starts bleeding. I'm like, sir, you are our head coach. Are you okay? And he's just like, gotta do what it takes to win. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, you just got a concussion, bro. Like, that was so unnecessary. But I got a little sidetracked, but my real point was that, yo, in practice, we went 100%. You would get your bell rung twice a week, minimum, at any position, maybe, yeah, like you said, other than maybe kicker or punter. You get your bell rung, you hear some birdies, but it's like the team trainer, not a medical fucking qualified person, not a doctor, nothing like that, takes one look at you and they're like, you're good, get back in there. And it's like, sir, like, I don't know what year it is. Like, that type of thing. Like, luckily, I never really got, like, really badly concussed, luckily. But, dude, I got my bell rung a lot. And I definitely was not 100% some of those times when I go back. So, you look at that, man, and I only played up until high school football. I look at it now, like, luckily, I did not go and play college ball. Back then, it was the biggest blow to my identity, my ego, my pride. Everything I knew about myself was like, fucked now.
Was entirely a football player.
Totally. But now I look at it, I'm like, thank the Lord that happened, because I probably wouldn't be able to formulate normal sentences today. Despite
You're still formulating sentences, dog. We're chilling, dude. Handle your liquor, sir.
Yeah. Hey, I'm handling it, man.
What are we doing?
Brother, you've had like a shot. Relax.
A shot. I don't want to
relax.
I've been putting them down. Don't even worry about it, dude.
Right, man.
So you never had like a formal concussion?
I was never formally concussed.
Dude, you are a lucky SOB.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been, okay. I don't want to call it suicidal. I've been numb to living once in my life. I was in 8th grade. I got 2 concussions back to back. One of them, I was being a prick jumping into a man-made lake.
Okay.
And we had these like trapeze bars that you could like go up some tower. And
you like swing it?
Dude, I don't know what I was doing. I was being a prick. You're 14. You're a prick about everything. And I went off and I did something and I hit the water parallel to the water. Like, wow. And I landed and I came up and I was like, oh my God. And I just like got over to the little dock and I just like sat there and I was like, something is very wrong. Like I am fucked up. And I was like, all right, whatever. I was concussed. I never got, officially diagnosed. I had a headache. I was like out of it for a while, like days. I had a middle school basketball tryout. I hit a concrete block, like the walls of the gym were concrete blocks. Oh. And the way it was explained to me, because I have no recollection of this, was that a ball, when it like was rolling, again, parallel to the wall, and I went to dive for it, and a guy had already started to dive. So I like stepped on his foot while I went, and instead of going here, I went at like 45 degrees and went crack
into the wall,
and my head went into the freaking concrete wall.
Oof.
I came to in the gym, and the trainer was like, "Where are you?" And I went, "The gym." He was like, good try. Dude, I was in my room for like 4 or 5 days, like would not come out of the room. My mom was like terrified. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, please don't talk. It hurts to hear. Could not look at light, could not look at screens.
That's clearly a concussion.
Fucked up. And I remember looking at her and I was like, said something to the effect of, yeah, I don't really know if it would matter if I lived or not. And she was like, oh, this is what you want to hear from your 14-year-old child. And like, I knew kind of in the back of my head, I was like, I know I'm fucked up. Like, I know this is going to pass. Like, this is just really strange. But dude, concussions are no joke, man. Like, I'll have some like little like memory lapses. And a lot of the time it's like, oh, whatever. I lost my train of thought. Every time I have a little like lost my train of thought, I'm like, I've gotten a handful of concussions. I'm like, I wonder if it's that. I got kicked in the jaw at jiu-jitsu one time by a dude trying to re-guard. Bro, caught me flush. And he's just like, I was trying to like dive in on a freaking pass. He was trying to re-guard in like a scramble, and he just went boom right across my face. And I was like, what the fuck?
Man,
dude, yeah, you can get cracked. I had headaches for a week.
I was sparring with a guy, and I got the perfect hook, just clean, like just clean. Flush got me. And it's like, when your ears are like ringing,
yeah,
and you're legit just like completely disoriented, like you're not able to like breathe properly because maybe at that point you'd already gotten cracked in your nose, so you're breathing through your mouth. So now you're just like,
you're struggling, you're going through it.
Not good.
Did you get wobbly? Like, did your legs go shaky?
No. So
you ever gotten real wobbled?
No,
training. Okay,
I haven't.
Yeah, that's good.
I do think I have a pretty decent chin.
Okay,
but I think it's like I don't have enough experience sparring to actually truly say that, or like I haven't been in like an actual fight yet to say that. But I do. I feel like initial inclinations. I feel like I can take a punch. I don't necessarily love when motherfuckers hit me in my nose. That's something that I don't.
Is your septum deviated? Do you know?
Yeah, I deviated my septum playing football, actually.
You ever gotten it fixed?
Yeah, I did. I had a little like corrective surgery for it, and it fucking just made things worse.
So you got a nose job?
I did get a nose job.
Same, dude. I got a nose job. It was sick.
Here's the fucking thing.
Bro, my nose looks pretty now, dude.
Wait, I did not get a nose job.
You got a nose job, dude.
Bro,
you got a septoplasty. You got a nose job.
My girlfriend says this all the time, and that's not true.
Do not gaslight Manu, dude. Manu, don't let him gaslight you. Manu, I love you. I care about you. Don't let Deepak gaslight you. You got a nose job.
My nose is fucked up still. There's nothing cosmetic about it.
Yeah, bro, that's what happens when you get free healthcare. That's what happens when you have Canadian healthcare, dude. That's what you get for communism, dude.
They went in and shaved the inside like part of my fucking nose to like allow me to breathe more.
Yeah.
That's not a nose job.
Dude, if you want to get defensive about your nose job, that's okay. Like, I'm not here to judge you about your nose job, okay? You're among friends, dude. It's fine.
I just didn't think that I had.
Dude, you're amongst friends. Your nose job is okay with me. I'll love you regardless, Deepak. It's okay.
I didn't have a cosmetic surgery. You talk about Canada, it wouldn't have been covered.
Dude, when I had my nose job, no, I'm being so serious. Bro, they did a septoplasty and a turbinectomy, which is where they go through and they
turbinectomy.
It's a ridiculous thing. It sounds, yeah.
Super racist. We had to get Jatinder's turban removed from his head. We had to take it off with a turbinectomy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So the beautiful part about this
had no chance.
The beautiful part about this podcast is it's enough material to have me not able to hold a stable job for the rest of my life. And I'm only on episode 8. That's the beauty about this whole thing. Anyways, as I was saying, dude, so they go through and you have these things in your nose that apparently like help you like filter the fucking air that comes in called turbinates. And dude, I was having all these problems, whatever. They go through and they do it and it didn't quite fix everything. And I went back to the surgeon. I was like, hey, bro, this isn't exactly doing it for me. We need to figure something out. And he's like, well, I'll just cut more of the turbinates out. And I was like, yeah, let me go home and do a little bit of research. Bro, I went home and started Googling. The number one side effect of turbinectomies is suicide because it gives you something called empty face or hollow face syndrome because they cut so much in here. You lose the feeling of everything in the center, like basically from like the crown of your nose all the way down. This all goes numb. And so it feels like you have a hole in the middle of your face. And the one of the most common side effects was some degree of insanity and suicide because you feel like there's a hole in your face. And I went back to him, I was like, hey man, let's hold off on that. By the way, maybe bring that one up next time. When you're, recommending that you start snipping on stuff. Bro, septoplasties suck. They shove those little things up your nose to like keep it stable.
And you gotta like have it like you can't breathe for a week.
You can't breathe. Your nose is constantly bleeding. Dude, I watched the Netflix series Medici in like a day and a half. There was like 3 seasons of it. I watched all 3 seasons in like a day and a half.
On that shit with you, dude.
Yeah, dude. On the Medici family? Dude, they're sick. Family,
bro, I fucking went deep once. I went down a fucking rabbit hole. And I like studied from Cosimo down to fucking Lorenzo and all these fucking people. They basically invented modern banking, bro.
They invented modern banking. They bankrolled the entirety of the Renaissance period.
Yes.
They had 2 members of their family go on to be popes. Dude,
they bankrolled so many of the fucking popes. They funded multiple sides of the fucking war. They were like, bro, they're like such a fucking influence. They created accounting as we know it.
Yeah.
Double entry bookkeeping. Like, bro, they so much impact. And it was like so many fucking years ago. But like, was it? Like, I don't know. Like, I could fucking dive into that shit with you. Like,
I'm obsessed with it. I wholeheartly believe I want to have one of my dogs. I'm going to name him Enzo.
Oh,
after Lorenzo de Medici.
Nice.
That's an interesting spot to be born into. You're sitting there, your dad's Cosimo de Medici. He's like founded the banking family. Like he's really kind of driving everything forward. And then you're sitting there and you're the second generation of it. And you're like, okay, now where do we go from here? Now what do? We have all this pressure. Dude, also the politics. Here's the thing. Politics now is so boring and bland. You can't just, like the good old days, assassinate the motherfucker. Just, hey, I really don't like the way you're voting. It'd be a shame if someone stabbed you on the way home. Unless you're Hillary Clinton, then fair game, right? But anyways, let's geek out on the Medici family.
Dude.
Educate me.
Hey, I will not educate you. I mean, you've seen the show. I haven't seen the show.
Dude, you know more about it than I do. I watched a Netflix show while I was fucked up on painkillers after a nose surgery.
Look, in college, I was trying to take the easiest electives I possibly could in classes. And there was this one class called like Italian culture. I was like,
with
bet.
it.
fucking
wine
sign
and pasta.
me the
Yes.
fuck up. It was not that at all. One of the worst classes I ever fucking took. It was so difficult. Like, it was so hard, and the teacher was a fucking dick. Fuck you, Franco Ricci.
Bro, you're straight up calling people out.
If you
that
fucking,
camera right there. No, not that one. That one.
If you're watching this, you piece of shit, you're a scumbag asshole to the fucking 7 people in this class. It wasn't a real class, you pompous piece of shit. Anyways, I did learn quite a bit because
Actually,
it was mandatory for me to be in class.
You're fighting that guy.
Fuck yeah. I'll fuck up Franco Ricci, you piece of shit. That
Don't
guy
say
was,
it. For legal purposes, that was a joke. Let everyone know that was a joke. That was not serious. He's kidding. Satire, law. Sure. Whatever floats your boat.
Anyways, but there was one project in the class that I did find interesting. It was like you were supposed to compare a family, like an influential family celebrity or something like that from the past to one, more in the present.
Okay.
And so I thought this was a fucking sick comparison. Franco Ricci did not. I fucking hope you see this, you piece of shit scumbag.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So fucking, I compared the Medici family with the Rockefellers. I'm like, let's but you gotta write like the whole essay, and like you gotta do like this whole cite your sources and all this stuff. So I thought I did a good job, but basically I lived in the library for like a month, and I was reading all these books about it and stuff, and I just just some of the stuff that they did, and like they bankrolled what's his name, that artist, is it Michelangelo or is it
Da Vinci?
Yeah, like
little unknown of
bro, they fucking funded all these popes, all these wars, all this insane shit. Like, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
I don't give a fuck. Let's spend however much time on it we want.
Okay,
it's my fucking show.
so bro, I started to study, like they started in like textiles and shit like that.
Yeah, like mercantilism.
Like the family was not doing really like that much crazy shit. But then they're just like, wait, we can just like fucking like lend some money to people and then make more money back.
Nothing like usury.
That wasn't really a thing. Like, people weren't doing that. You have to understand, like, this was a novel concept. Like, it wasn't really like so many empires before that were not doing that shit. And so they fundamentally changed like capitalism forever. Right. And so I didn't go that deep on all of the sons and stuff, but I think when it got to like Lorenzo or something, things started to get a little squirrely. Like they started to fall off, and the family started getting a little weird.
I think it was the third. It was after Lorenzo. Lorenzo was like Lorenzo the Great. And
he was good, and
Cosimo,
then
his son was kind of a fuck up. His son had like squandered the empire. By like 24, which also is a wild thing to have fucked up by 24. Hey, you know how your family's the most influential in Italy? Don't
family
ruin
like
it.
in Europe.
But here's the thing: is that they kind of came back, because even after him, he had some, like, they still had the two popes after him. They were super up in the Catholic Church. Yeah, which just goes to show you don't trust Catholics, right? That's the lesson we can learn from that.
Like you said it, I didn't. I just hate Franco Ricci. That's all I'm doing.
I was about to say, you're on a warpath, dude. This whole podcast, episode 8 with Deepak Sharma. Fuck Franco Ricci.
Fuck Franco Ricci.
Jesus, dude, you're getting aggressive.
He was such a fucking like mean person. That's the thing, because I have been to Italy. My first solo trip I ever did was in Italy.
Really?
And I took this class after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yo, Italy is dope. The history, insane. Going to the Vatican, wild. Looking up and actually seeing the fucking paintings. Like all of this shit was so dope.
You're bought in. You're like, I love all of it.
I love all of it. And that like Italy is just a concept, and it's all these different like kingdoms type of shit. And then like, bro, this was my first solo travel trip I ever took in my entire life. So I took 3 weeks in Italy. So I started in Rome, went down to Naples, then Napoli, and then I went down to Sorrento and did the whole Amalfi Coast. Highlight for me.
Absolutely.
That was peak. Then I went back up to Rome to go to, I did Pompeii. That was pretty cool. But that's like pretty close to Naples. That's where like that volcano erupted.
I've heard some wild stuff about like the stuff they found in Pompeii.
Insane, bro. What wild. Like people frozen like with their dick in their hands. Some people like hugging people. Like, no, like these mummified remains.
What did you just say?
Like, imagine a volcano is coming, you see the ashes, and you got like a few minutes left, and your move is like, one last jerk. Like, that happened. You Google it, pull it up.
That's a pathetic existence. Let's be honest, like that guy's life wasn't great. Like prior to that point, it was degrees of bad.
Of course. But
bro, go hug your wife.
Yeah, well, he clearly didn't fucking have one, dude. So
maybe she just didn't like him that much.
Maybe. We don't know. We got to go back.
Fucking time travel to one period of time. I'm going to go back and ask that guy, hey, man, how did it all go wrong?
Well, but some people, it was so cute. They were cuddled up and like you see the like mummified remains. Like, anyways, that was an experience. Then I went up to Florence. I did Venice. I did Milan. So I got like a little taste of Italy. I could obviously dive into that and like talk about that for a bit. But the more important point is when I came back, I still had to finish school. When I came back from my exchange, for context, for anyone listening, dude, I forgot we're on a podcast right now. People might actually be listening to this.
Dude, not many. Don't worry.
I'm so sorry, guys, at least on my end. Dallas doing a fantastic job.
I'm not sorry for anything. I meant every word I said about you NPCs commenting on TikTok and YouTube. Every word about it, I meant. I hold no beef with Franco, whatever. That's not my circus, not my monkeys, but
fuck Franco Ricci. I'm not apologizing.
This will be on the internet.
I don't care. Fuck that guy, because he was just such an asshole for no reason. I remember taking this class and having so much respect for the Italian culture. And I'm thinking, I'm going to take Italian culture. It'll be a pretty easy credit. And at the same time, might learn a thing or two. Yeah. And it'll be a cool class. The guy just was in such a bad mood all the time. And he'd just basically be like yelling and berating students like throughout the class. And like, I think there's like 20 students in the class, but like not 20 students are going to show up.
Not 20 people are showing up to Italian culture at whatever time on Tuesday, Thursday.
And look, I was one of them. I did not always come to class, but when I did, I participated and I was a fucking very good student. And I always did my work. I got my work done. And this guy would just like redline everything that I did. And I was like, dude, objectively speaking, like this is good work. You're just giving me a hard time because for whatever personal reasons you have, like, you know. Anyways, I don't want to make this about that. I just remember that class, I wanted to learn so much, but the only shit I actually learned was during that paper where I studied the Medici family.
Yeah.
Dope family.
That's a whole other level of power. That medieval. That's the weird thing.
The Rothschilds.
Here's the thing. The Rothschilds ain't shit compared to them. You think about like European money.
No, yeah.
Bro, there is European money where you will sit there and you'll have a conversation with someone. They're like, yeah, so I'm 9th generation. Like my family's been rich for 9 generations. You're like, wait a second. 9 generations. Oh, you've been rich since the Middle Ages. Like, that's a preposterous.
That's not.
And y'all have been rich since before America was a country.
Yeah.
That's sick, though. See, that's aspirational. And there's people that'll sit there and they'll talk shit and they'll be mad. And that's okay. You can be mad. But there are some people where, like, that's their family's existence. And I think that's cool. Dude, you were talking about your Italian culture professor. I don't know if this was your experience. My experience with college professors, either very cool or sucked.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very binary thing. There's very few middle ground, like, yeah, they were all right.
Uh-huh.
I think, then again, my college career, not decorated, but it was either like they were a cool person or it was like, your life's not going great. Like you're angry at the world for no reason.
I had this one professor, and so for context, I studied international business, which ironically, like throughout my whole like studying international business, I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this degree. That is so vague. What does that mean? I'm
going to conduct business internationally. Okay, what business? Oh, whoa. Enough with the questions, dude.
I'm fucking 22.
Is this an interview? Like, enough with the questions.
So, but that's what I chose as my major because accounting or like finance.
Did you take accounting classes?
I had to, yeah.
Were you good at accounting?
Absolutely not, dude. That was one of the only, like, I mean, I haven't failed many things in my life, but like accounting exams actually failed. Like, have you ever shown up to an exam and you laugh? Like you open up this fucking pamphlet. It's the like letter paper that's that big. You like flip through it just to like, let's see what we got. And you're like,
you're like, oh, I'm in trouble.
It's past trouble. It's like, should I even stay? Is it even worth actually bullshitting this? Because like, I'm that fucked.
I took a college chemistry exam drunk. The exam. I did.
Wait, what'd you study?
Where do we start? I start when I was at Georgia State. I was just like basically undeclared. Just took like the gen ed credits. Right. I transferred to Auburn. Basically, they didn't count any of the stuff that I took at Georgia State. Basically, any of it. They're like, hey, very cute. Start over. Cool. I was business, and then I was exercise science and kinesiology.
But business is a degree, just business general.
Dude, I'm conducting business, dude. I don't know what business, but business. I was business, then I was nutrition and dietetics, and then I was exercise science and kinesiology. For exercise, and then I dropped out. For kinesiology or dietetics, I had to take chemistry. My first test, I told my parents this after like stuff had started to turn around and like my life was not like a train wreck. Like, oh, he dropped out of college, he's working at GameStop, but it was like fine. They both, well, my dad found it funnier than my mom. My mom was like, just concerned. I took test one went, fine. At like 80 something. Cool. We're cruising. Test 2 was like a 68. I was like, you know what? Could have been better. Well, we'll improve. Test 3 was like a 54. I was like, we're going in the wrong direction quickly. And test 4 was like a 50. And I can't remember the specifics. I needed like a 96 to pass the class. Oh. And I was like, dude, I didn't make a 96 on a test, much less on the exam. It's like, dude, I didn't study. I was like, you know what? We've got a certain number of hours we can allocate. We're just gonna punt on the chemistry exam. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. So I, devoted all the study hours to everything else. The chemistry exam was the last exam that I had. It was on the Friday, the last day of exams, and it was at, I think, like a 6 o'clock exam. It was the fall semester. So in Auburn, Alabama, it gets dark in the winter at like 4 o'clock because you're right on the border. So you're basically in Eastern time, but it's Central time. So it's like 4:15 and the sun's down.
Okay.
Dude, me and my roommate, Matt, went to Moe's. I remember this like it was yesterday. We went to Moe's and we just started slugging these massive gin and sours. Bro, I had like 4 or 5 of those things and I went, fuck it. I'm going to go take this exam. Bro, I went and made like an 88 on the exam. Hammered. And I was like, I did better on the final exam drunk than I did on 3 of those tests. Yeah, dude, it was not, chemistry was not my strong suit. Chemistry, math, not my strong suit, but that's fine.
Dude.
It was hilarious because the girl that I was dating at the time was like a genius, was like a chemical engineering major. And so she's sitting there like having an aneurysm over the fact that like, I'm just not getting it. And I was like, yeah, but like I can sell a little bit. It'll be fine. And she was like, the whole time she's like sitting there like, oh, well, I'll tutor you. And like when I'm failing, she's like, well, it's your fault. I'm like, you're a shit tutor. Like you need to be a better tutor. But no, I
get it, man.
But all coming back to point number 1, that chemistry teacher was such a miserable human.
That makes a difference.
Okay. So here's the thing. English was not her first language. That's okay. I'm not judging you that English is not your first language. her tests were written like English was not her first language.
Oh no, that's not okay.
And you would go up and you would go, hey, this question is like not a coherent sentence. What are we trying to get at? And she goes, no questions during tests. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't know what you're asking. Like, this. And it's not like you were the only one. There'd be like an army of people, and then she would make an announcement in the class, like, I will not be answering anything about questions 4, 12, or 18. And you're like, maybe get your point across a little bit better. But yeah.
Oh,
did you have any professors in college where you're like, yo, I actually really respect the hell out of you. Like, you're an awesome person.
So that's what I was trying to build up to before I got sidetracked myself. Study international business, and what that meant to me at the time was I want to do some sort of business internationally. That's all I knew as a fucking 15-year-old kid who was like applying to college.
You applied to college when you were 15?
Well, I started when I was 17 and I wanted early acceptance. So I was really thinking about what track I want to go in. Yeah, you have to, because remember, like you had to think in high school what classes you're going to take so that they can, what they're going to accept you for. Like, you know?
I was trying to play baseball. I didn't think about what I wanted to do with my life until I was 20.
No, and same. But
so I was like, I don't know.
No, like I was growing up, I wanted validation from my parents so bad that I told them that I'm going to be a doctor. Okay. Specifically, I told them I'm going to be a fucking heart surgeon. I never wanted that. I don't even like I like biology, but other than that, can't stand chemistry, physics, like anything to do with fucking science. I'm just like, I only fuck with biology, really.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to be sitting in labs my whole life and like dealing with, or not my whole life, but like
my academic career.
Fuck that. Anyways, not the point. I end up fucking going into international business because it sounds dope. And I find out that you can go on an exchange. I was like, that sounds cool. Which I'm very grateful that I actually ended up doing because it was one of the cooler disciplines that you could study at my business school. So I go to business school and bro, I'm taking like mandatory classes that you had to take in the first 2 years. Linear algebra. What is linear algebra? Statistics 1, 2, and 3. Fucking all these random like management 101, accounting principles, finance 101, fucking human resources management. All these bullshit fucking courses.
It's wild.
That like, as an actual business owner now, which that's where the irony, like I run an international business now, which is like a fucking great accolade for the University of Ottawa. Like I'm a fucking success story from their standpoint. It's like fucking, he's doing the thing that he went to college for. But it's like, I didn't need to take any of those classes. My degree could have been in 1 year of classes that actually mattered for what I wanted to do. And so that's what I'm trying to get to. There was this one professor, Denis Sakalauskas. I can't say his last name very well. He's Lithuanian.
G.
Sakalauskas. That's how it's spelled. But my boy Dennis, he was a younger prof. You know, at the time, I think he was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. Sorry, Dennis, if I fucked that up. But he was just a bro. He, like, you know, the first day of class when you're supposed to be there and you go through the syllabus and it's like, yo, this is like what you got like in store. He'd be like, look, guys, I don't believe in any of that bullshit. You show up, you participate, and you have a fucking good time. You're going to pass this class with flying colors. You're going to do very well, and you're going to have a good time, and you're going to learn shit. I was like, I hadn't seen this yet. It didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know college had people like this. Up until then, it was like, it is very important that you show up to every class. Attendance will be marked. If you're not there, and you're not allowed to use your laptop to take notes, by the way. And if you get caught taking someone else's notes, like fucking whatever bullshit for all these fucking bullshit classes, I was like, bro, I'm gonna befriend nerds and they're gonna fucking do my assignments for me. What are we talking about here? So Dennis made me want to go to class. I showed up to class and I learned shit. And it was classes like cross-cultural management, learning about the different fucking nuances between different cultures and how different countries do business, and like, what are some of the customs, and like what are some of the big brands that come from big companies, where are they headquartered, what are some of the taxation strategies. Like, bro, I was like learning shit and I was interested in it and I loved it. I took 3 of his classes. I took 3 of Dennis's classes. Like, I made sure, like, I'd move shit around. I'd be like, fuck this, I'm taking Dennis's classes. To this day, me and Dennis are in fucking contact. That's my boy.
That's cool as shit.
I love Dennis. Dennis at age 40 something is now gonna go play lacrosse for Team Lithuania.
G.
Fucking, that's the top G right there, bro. I love Dennis. He made my university experience a lot more bearable. We had some great classes. I did like presentations on like Heineken and like fucking random shit, and like I had so much fun with it. Opposite experience of fucking Franco Ricci, that piece of shit, fucking human being scumbag.
Oh, just the Franco Ricci slander show. I think that's like a
pompous prick. Wore a fucking scarf to every class. It was hot. Didn't need the scarf. What was the scarf for, bro?
Such a fucking hater.
And then one day we found out he had cancer. And
oh my God.
That's why he wore the scarf. Yeah, I know. Yeah, not good. Not good. Not good. Not proud.
Not good, brother.
Not proud, but
Not
still
good,
fuck
brother.
that guy. Cancer's not an excuse to be a fucking dick.
Oh my God. All right. The Dallas Clinton podcast is not slandering the cancer ridden. No. Okay. I was going to try and make some somewhat serious point about, the benefits of making learning enjoyable. And we just turned this back in the Franco Ricci slander show, apparently.
You know what? I love Dennis Sakalauskas, and I've had some solid professors over my college experience. That's what made me get through it.
Here's the thing, though. You can take that lesson and you can apply it to a business context, and you can apply it to a relationship, whatever context. It's like, hey, look, make people want to be around you. Conduct yourself in a way that people want to be around you, want to spend more time around you. And it's like, okay, you want to, relate that to business. Do you want to work for the CEO that is going to operate like Professor Ricci, where he's sitting there and is like, I'm going to be a prick. Nothing's ever good enough. You're a piece of shit. You don't work enough. You're not good enough. Your best is not enough. Do you want to work for that guy for a long period of time? Or do you want to go work for someone that's like, yo, we're going to make, some good money. We're going to make a good product. We're going to have a good time doing it. The people that are going to work here are going to be, it's going to be an environment where you want to show up and you want to fucking handle your business. Or do you want to go work for the prick that's going to sit there and be a freaking...
It's such a powerful
asshole.
point that you make there, bro, because it's a decision we all make every single day, is how you're going to interact with your fellow human. It's actually a choice. You can have the most fucked up situation. Things can be going so poorly for you and whatever. But we all know people who are going through the wildest shit, but they got a smile on their face, a positive attitude, and they have a nice outlook on life. And shit might be hitting the fan. They might be going through it, but they recognize that I'm not going to drag everyone down with me.
Yeah.
And then you got the opposite, which I won't focus too much on, but we all know the person who has had the slightest inconvenience in their life and it's woe is me. And they're so negative, and they bring everyone down to their level. And I never want to be the second boss. I never want to be that guy, dude. I want to be the type of person that, hey, we can grab a drink after this. You can come to me with stuff. We can talk. You're a human being. I am too. Obviously, there's a power dynamic, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not blind to that. However, it does not have to be a negative thing. And it doesn't have to be you are only like thriving or surviving at my expense. It's like, we together can create this thing, me with my skill set, you with yours. That's how I view my team. That's how I view humans. Everyone has a different skill set. Not everyone is meant to wear the crown. Heavy is the fucking head that wears the crown. I don't sleep that well at night. I have a fuck ton of stress. I put out an insane amount of fires every day. But I also can work from my phone. I can fuck off to Singapore tomorrow. I have certain perks that my life has afforded me. Not everyone fits cleanly in one of these two buckets. It's like a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
People land in one extreme or the other.
I always think it's the funniest thing in the world. You see these dorks that are looking for attention, TikTok, Twitter, whatever the platform is. They sit there and they talk all this shit on people that work 9-to-5 jobs. Hey, man, quick question. If you're actually running anything the size that you say you are, because you claim that you're running this empire, if you're running that, who's working in it? Oh, it's people that work. Is this place haunted? Hey, Kashan. What the fuck? Bro, Deepak, I'm going to need you to start boxing these ghosts up, dude.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. No, I'm just always confused by it. It's like you see these people and they're so eager to talk shit on people that work 9-to-5s. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Dude. It's like, dude, everyone has their own talent stack. Everyone has their own skill set. And to your point, you sat there and you're like, yo, I have enough self-awareness to know that I am not the videographer. I am not the editor. I'm not the social media manager. I'm not the one coming up with the ideas for this. I don't have these skill sets. Really, the only thing you're talking about when you're talking about someone that's running a company is the skill set of high-level management. You can manage and put out the worst fires. That's your skill set. And there's going to be fires at every single phase underneath it. To sit there and be critical of people that want to make a good living, send their kids to good colleges, and handle things in that way, that's a ridiculous thing. Because to sit there and be so egotistical that it's like, I am the best. It's like, dude, if you put me in any role, like, again, to your point, what you're talking about inside of a real estate, if you make me a home inspector, I'm the worst home inspector on the planet.
Right.
If you make me an appraiser, I'm the worst appraiser on the planet. Mm-hmm. If you make me any of these things, I'm the worst at these things. Like, I'm all right at a couple of things. I just find it fucking ridiculous when people are so eager to talk shit and talk like they're the man. It's like, dude, because if you don't have a team around you and anyone that's done anything at any scale realizes that it takes a team and a solopreneur is not going to build anything massive, you're an idiot. Like, you are a stupid individual, and that's okay. And you belong in my You Should Not Get to Vote series.
I totally agree, dude. I think, are we running on time here?
Bro, it is 10 o'clock at night.
I didn't even realize we were going that long. No, but what I'll say about that, Dallas, is that a lot of these people that like shit on like the 9-to-5ers and the employees, right? And like kind of put them down for being that. They don't run a real company, because how can you be the type of person who these people are going to look up to when you're out here publicly shitting on them? These people are hardworking, fucking beautiful people, bro. Just because their personality type and their situation and their circumstance which you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know if fucking Jessica has 2 kids and, you know, actually prefers to clock out and have a good time with her kids and her husband. You don't know if that's what she prefers to do with her life. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. If in fact, that's a good mother. Yeah. I fucking appreciate that. If Jessica said, man, fuck these kids, I'm going all in on like entrepreneurship. I'm about to like do drop shipping. I'm about to do this. There's 7 other fucking hustles. Fuck these kids. I'm going on. I'd look at Jessica like, man, Jessica, we need to have a talk. Those kids need a mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And same, like, this is not a fucking sexist thing. Same thing with a father.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids and you're just trying a bunch of shit and you're not fucking putting food on the table with a consistent 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 7 to 3 hustle. I don't look at you with any respect.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about what future potential you have with the whatever business. Bullshit, bro. That's all bullshit. You got to take care of the people around you. That's number one to me. And you know me well enough to know I take care of the people around me. That is my number one driving force. This business shit, the accolades, the freedom, all that bullshit. I would trade it in a heartbeat and go back and get a 9 to 5 tomorrow if it meant that I'm taking care of my immediate family.
Yeah.
If my choice was I have a thriving solo life where I'm just crushing it alone, but I know I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, or I'm doing all right, barely scraping by, but I have enough to take care of my people and myself, I'm choosing option 2, bro.
Yeah. It's a weird discussion that people love to have where they love to shit on that kind of thing. I don't understand.
I just think that I've been very blessed and lucky that I worked a 9 to 5 government job out while I was in university.
Tell the story about the dude that made you want to quit the 9 to 5. The guy that.
Okay, so this story it's a little loose because this fucking So
Canadians swear so much, dude. You make me look like a saint.
I joined the federal government, and this is, I don't remember the year now. Would it be 2016, 2018, something like that. 2018. And I start working there, and I have so much like respect for the people who work there and stuff. Like, these are not bad people. Like, they're not, I'm not trying to demonize them or anything. There's nothing wrong with these people. And if any of you guys are watching, like, yeah, I love y'all.
No one from the Canadian government is watching this podcast.
They absolutely are, dude. You don't know who follows me.
Oh, damn. Okay. That's fair.
I'm sorry, guys, but I hated it. I fucking couldn't stand it. It was just not for me. I just did not like it. But as soon as I fucking joined the government, man, yeah, there's this one fucking dude who worked there, and pretty much as soon as like I joined, he was like talking about, and like my memory's fuzzy on this stuff, man, but he was just talking about like everything's pensionable time, like only 2 more months till retirement. Like I hadn't heard that type of talk before. It was like fucking new to me. What the fuck? He's like, yo, only 1 month left. I'm almost out. I'd see him like having breakfast or something like that. I don't remember his name or anything like that. But he goes and retires, and not a month later, he fucking dies of a heart attack. Or no, a day or 2 later. Like, it was like extremely sudden.
Less than a week after he retires.
Yes. It was so fast. I don't remember the specific details, but I was just like, what the fuck? And like, that to me was everything that I needed to know. Like, this guy was delaying gratification to the point where he hated his miserable life so much. It was now time for retirement. That's when he can start living. He fucking retires, and then
it's a week.
He fucking dies.
That's horrifying.
And like, there's something to be said about having something to live for.
Yeah.
He had something that got him up every morning, and he went to work, and he felt like that was his purpose. Didn't enjoy it, but he provided for whoever.
Yeah. Family, kids, whatever.
And so that's why there's nuance to this thing. I don't want the point there to be fuck a 9-to-5 only. The only path is entrepreneurship. Take a huge risk, burn the boats, go all in. I want it to be like, yo, evaluate. Take a step back from everything. And you know what I'll fucking do, bro? If anyone's actually listening this long into the podcast at this point,
if you've listened to 2 hours of this podcast,
I'm gonna drop this link of this one exercise that changed my entire life. And there was actually something I invested in this course from Iman Gaji at one point, and he had this worksheet called the SBA worksheet: See, Believe, Achieve. It sounds so fucking corny. It sounds like some Tony Robbins like.
Yeah.
Trust me on this. This sheet changed my life. Let me show you.
Yeah, pull it up.
So the See, Believe, Achieve worksheet, I've updated it a few times now, so this is a more updated copy.
Oh, so you're like a real believer in this shit. Okay.
You go down and you write your story to this point. You actually add photos and like who you are, what you've done, whatever.
Holy shit.
Talk about your story this past year. Me in my attic apartment doing my podcast.
Yo, is that like, yo, let me see this.
So Jamie.
Yo, Young Pac.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Tore my Achilles. Started like, whatever. I'm not going to bore people with my bullshit, but I had goals. I wanted to do some stuff. And then I talked about the next chapters. I idolized Hormozy, and I talked about wanting to retire my mom, and there's some stuff in here, whatever. Bro, I made a vision board. Sounds so corny. I know. Make fun of me. Whatever. There are these things that I looked up to that I wanted more of.
Mm-hmm.
Intentions: get in the best shape of my life, retire my mom, make $1 million profit. I even wrote my own Wikipedia page. I struggled with this one. This one I found very corny, but I did it anyways. Wrote a whole Wikipedia page. Affirmations. When I was starting my business journey, I needed affirmation and I needed confirmation and validation that like, this fucking huge risk that I'm taking, leaving a good paying job, safety cushion, good safety net. I'm making good money. I got a good network. I'm living in a big, like not a big city, but a decent sized city. I'm on the path. I'm checking boxes. Parents are proud of me. Why am I so fucking unfulfilled? Why do I want to put a bullet in my brain? Why am I so fucking not happy? Doing an exercise like this reaffirmed that there's something more out there for me. Like, I didn't know what or how. I just knew that and I reviewed that 3-4 times a week, bro. I looked at it when I was ever down or confused or lost. And it sounds like fucking woo-woo bullshit, bro. But that shit changed my life, bro. Putting it on paper like that.
Yeah.
I printed it out. I flipped through it in the morning. Oh, yeah, like, this is what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And I update it like every year. I'm due for it. I need to update it now.
I was gonna say that's the 2022. You're slacking.
I got some work to do. So the reason I say all this is just anyone listening to it to this point, I'll link like something in the notes of the show here so that you can go make a copy in Google or Canva or whatever and do this exercise yourself. It's gonna take 5-6 hours. Like, it's not just something you do in 30 minutes. Like, you have to sit down with yourself and your emotions and your feelings and your beliefs and your values, and you have to actually create your reality. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And that's how, like, that's, if there's one thing from this podcast you take away. I mean, me and my boy were just talking shit today, but if there's one thing I'm absolutely fucking serious about, is taking the time to really like create your reality, because we are all in control of doing that. It might not be how you thought. I go back and I look at that and I laugh at some of like what I thought.
Yeah.
But I have achieved a lot of it, bro. Not how I thought it would look, but I did. Oh shit. My mom's retiring. Or, oh, this is how, oh, I did move to this. Like, wow. Like, you take a look at that shit now a few years later and you're like, that had a fucking impact.
That's fucking cool, man. Deepak Sharma, motherfucker. Thank you for this. That was fucking cool, man.
I love you, Doug.
I fucking love you too, Deepak.
Thank you for having me
on
the show.
That was fucking fun. All right. Let's go drink the rest of this fucking tequila. Boom. Cut it.